It's about time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you, man, to every single one of y'all who has been supporting my channel, rocking with my channel, man, leaving the comments, liking, sharing the videos. Man, listen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. You know, I'm at 15,000 subscribers and counting. No way I could do that without, the people who support me, man. I wish that I listen, I wish that I can say everybody's name, but whoever y'all are, thank you. And I mean that from the heart. Thank you for supporting Rashawn's About Time Boxing. We got some About Time Boxing merch that will be coming soon. So stay tuned for that. And today's episode of Rashawn's About Time Boxing is sponsored by Unlimited Staffing Agency. If you are a CNA, a LPN, or RN, and you are looking for gainful employment in Ohio, PA, or in the state of Pennsylvania, contact 267-779-8915 and use code hashtag RBTB. All right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. So we're gonna talk about a few things in this video. We're gonna talk about the Canelo Berlanga fight. And we're gonna talk about the Danny Garcia versus Erislandy Lara fight. So before I talk about the Canelo and Berlanga fight, and we probably gonna talk a little bit about Caleb Plant versus Mccumby too. Trevor, I think his name was Trevor Mccumby. But so I made a comment last night, and a lot of people got upset about it, and they still upset about it because I'm still receiving messages in reference to the comment that I made last night. And the comment that I made last night was, I said, I don't want to hear anybody, when Danny Garcia was fighting Lara, I said, I don't want to hear anybody, telling me that Shakur Stevenson, fights are boring, because that fight was a boring fight. And so the heat that what I got in response was, oh man, both of them dudes is old. Danny 36, Lara 41. What you expect? They both old. Basically saying like they old and over the hill. Well, Lara can't be that old and over the hill if he got a belt. He's still an active fighter. Danny's still an active fighter too. But what I said to them was, that they don't know shit about boxing. And I'm gonna tell you why, because when Bernard Hopkins fought Kelly Pavlik, and I think that was October of 08, Bernard was 43 years old. Kelly Pavlik was 26. And that was one of the best performances of Bernard Hopkins' career. That fight was action-packed from the beginning to the end. George Foreman fought Michael Moorer in November of 94. He knocked out Michael Moorer to become the heavyweight champion. I think Foreman was 40 years old. Usyk, Alexander Usyk, Tyson Fury, they just fought in May. Usyk, 37? Fury 36? Manny Pacquiao, he fought Adrian Broner, January 2019. Pacquiao was 41. Those fights is full of action. And not only that, Terrence Crawford, 36, going on 37. Look at what he doing to people. It's no excuse. So I'm just saying, like, you want to talk about boring? That was a boring fight. And see, when you start laying out facts like that to people, then all of a sudden, they don't have nothing to say. And listen, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful to Danny. Danny from Philly, I like Danny. And Erislandy Lara is one of my favorite fighters. When he was in his prime, he reminded me of a southpaw version of Floyd Mayweather. When Lara was in his prime. And Lara fought a lot of the big names. Canelo being one of them. So, yeah, I made the statement. Yeah, I did. And I don't understand why everybody is so upset about it. The fight was boring. And if y'all think I'm lying, listen, drop the comments in the comment section below. For those of y'all who have an excuse for why that fight was the way that it went, y'all don't think it was a boring fight? And then somebody said, oh, well, Lara still got the knockout. Lara didn't get the knockout. Danny quit on his stool. And you could see his corner every time he went back to the corner. His father and them, they looking at him like, Danny, are you okay? Danny, are you okay? As if they knew something was probably wrong with him going into the fight. And then Danny was saying, oh, well, I was trying to be great. I wanted to be a 3-division world champion. Okay, you was a champion at 140. You was a champion at 147. Why'd you skip 154 when you just fought Jose Benavidez at 54? Why would you skip 54? I'll tell you why. 3 letters, TBC, Terrence Bud Crawford. Because it's a lot of good fights down there at 154 that Danny could have, that he could, he can fight. You got Fundora, you got Tim Tszyu. I don't know what the state of Jamel Charlo is now, with his situation, but Jamel Charlo, Erickson Lubin. I think the guy name is Jason Rosario, I think. Who's the guy that who's the other guy that's down there at 54? I said him. Terrence Crawford. But you got Terrence Crawford, Fundora, Lubin. You got a lot of people. It's Israel Madrimov. You got him too at 154. But he skipped, and I don't see why Lara's title was on the line anyway, and they fought at a catch weight of 157. If the fight was supposed to be at 160, and Danny even looked like a little flabby. Like he just, you could see like his chest was like kind of sagging and stuff a little bit. I feel like, like I said, this is and I'm not taking no shots at Danny Garcia. I'm just saying, I just feel like that, when he fought Jose Benavidez, if Danny would have stayed in the gym and stayed active, he could have, you know what I mean? He could, he can campaign at 154. And if you want to avoid the fight with Bud, then just keep avoiding it like you did at 47. But I would highly call, a catch where you're fighting at 157 and, saying that, it's a fight for Lara's middleweight title, because I don't know if they thought that by Lara, having to come down to 157 to make the weight, that they hoped that he would be like maybe a little weight drained or something, to that effect. But Danny said he couldn't find his rhythm. He just couldn't, I just think that he thought that the fight was going to be a lot. He thought by choosing to fight Lara and Lara being the age that he was, I'm just saying, this is my opinion. I think that Danny thought that, him fighting Lara, at that catch weight and Lara being 41 years old, that it would take a toll on Lara, and he figured he would probably catch him or be able to dominate the fight at some point. And once he realized it, it just wasn't going to happen. You know what I mean? Because Lara caught him with that, with that shot, like, stunned him a little bit. But, I feel like Danny just quit. He just quit on his stool. He just quit. And I think this is probably the last that we're going to see of Danny Garcia. As a fighter, at least anyway. And if this is the last time we're going to see Danny Garcia as a fighter, then, listen, we wish him nothing but the best, man. You wish fighters nothing but the best, because this is a dangerous game, and you hear it plenty of times. Like, boxing is something that you don't play. And if mentally, emotionally, and psychologically going into this fight you knew you wasn't ready, should have never took that fight. You can get hurt. You can get hurt like that. But like I said, people using the age as an excuse. Come on, man. You can't use that when you got guys like Foreman winning world titles when he's 40 years old. Bernard Hopkins dominating Kelly Pavlik and he's 43 years old. Like, come on, y'all. Y'all can miss me with that one. And for those of y'all who using that as an excuse, y'all need to go back, do your research, and look at fighters, in their 40s, late 30s dominating. We got one right now, Terrence Bud Crawford. Dominating. Yeah. 4-division world champion, two times undisputed. Come on, man. He dominating right now. So, that's why I said I don't want to hear nobody talking about. Listen, y'all can say Shakur Stevenson, his last fight, y'all can say it was boring. Y'all can say that. But I promise you, if Lara and Danny Garcia had been the main event, people would have been left the arena. They would have left after the second round. Shakur Stevenson last fight throughout definitely, had more action in it than this one. So nah. And that's why I made the comment. So whoever don't like it, you just don't like it. So what? All right, moving on. So Edgar, no, so we're gonna talk about Caleb Plant and Trevor Mccumby. Now, I feel like in the beginning of the fight, you know, Caleb Plant was being a little reckless. And I think, like, because as you can see, Trevor Mccumby, listen, he got some power, he got some pop. And I'm watching the fight and I'm just saying, like, he just trying to set Caleb Plant up and just trying to land a big shot. And sometimes Caleb Plant was being careless and he got caught at least twice in that joint where that he was hurt. Like when he caught him with that shot, I can't remember what round it was, but before the bell ended, caught him like right at the end of the bell, and Caleb Plant was shaking his head like he wasn't hurt, but you could see him like teetering towards his corner. And I'm like, yeah, no, he hurt. And I'm like, man, he need to be careful and he need to listen to his corner. And Stephen Breadman Edwards was telling him, he was like, listen, man, this is a 12-round fight. Take your time. Keep the fight in the middle of the ring, keep boxing and keep turning him. And don't, you know what I mean? Like, don't get careless. Stay off. I mean, of course, and then once Caleb realized he was having success against Mccumby against the ropes, he just kept him against the rope. And I just think at some point, Mccumby just tapped out. You know what I mean? Like he got the little cut, his eye, and all that. And I just think at some point he tapped out. But he had what you call a puncher's chance. And that's what I was saying. Like throughout the entire fight, he had a puncher's chance up until Caleb Plant stopped him. I think it was in the ninth round. Or they stopped the fight in the ninth round. But that was a more dangerous fight than I thought it would be for Caleb Plant. And you can see that if this guy, didn't let Caleb take his heart and, could have stayed his course, the outcome of that fight could have been different. But nonetheless, I'm happy for Caleb Plant. He one of my, favorite fighters. I like Caleb Plant too. I would like to see him fight Berlanga next. Not Canelo, but I would love to see him fight Berlanga. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought that. And then once Caleb took control of the fight, I thought that, okay, cool. Like now he, he doing what he's supposed to do. He got on point with his defense. He wasn't taking no unnecessary risk. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting caught with, with sloppy shots and stuff like that. He was taking his time. He was placing his shots, so, congratulations, the sweet hands to Caleb Plant, on a tough, well fought and well deserved victory for Caleb Plant. So and now so we're gonna get into this Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez fight. Now, I will say this. Berlanga, now I had Canelo winning the fight, but I said Canelo would probably stop him between like 6 and 11, like like 6 and 11 or 6 and 9 or somewhat, but I didn't think the fight would go the distance. So I give Berlanga credit for going the distance with Canelo. Yeah, he went the distance with Canelo, but when he got dropped in that second round, after that, it was just more or less just about him just surviving. Now, even though I feel like he gave a better showing of himself than Jermell Charlo did, Jermell Charlo just pretty much gave up. But he and once Canelo realized that Berlanga wasn't no real threat to him too, Canelo just was cutting the ring off, just stayed right in front of him and was just like cracking him. And I feel like Canelo did want to, stop him, and knock him out. You know what I mean? Because Canelo can carry you in the fight if he wants to. Like I felt like he carried Jaime Munguia in that fight. I feel like he could have, stopped Munguia at some point. You know what I mean? But I honestly thought that Canelo would stop Berlanga in this fight. You know what I mean? And I picked him. I picked him to win, but I picked him to stop Berlanga. So, but the fight went the distance. He did drop Berlanga. You know what I mean? And to me, Berlanga was just trying. He was just trying to survive. and in the fight, because it didn't look like he was really trying to, you know, like do any, like really do anything. He was talking to Canelo, in the fight, at some point, you talking, but Canelo was just trying to, you could tell Canelo wanted to stop him or knock him out, sit him down, or had a referee technical decision. He definitely wanted to stop him, but I don't know what y'all think about the fights last night. Um, how do y'all think? What do y'all? I mean, do y'all think I was wrong about saying what I said about Danny Garcia and Erislandy Lara, that fight being a boring fight? It was a boring fight. I could have missed that whole fight and not cared about what the outcome was. It has nothing to do with, me disliking either one, because I don't dislike either one of those fighters. I like Lara. I was, at the Barclays when Lara fought on the undercard of Tank versus Rolly Romero. So, I was there for that, so I like Lara, but that fight with Danny was boring, and I felt like Danny just quit on his stool, because they had this. I don't know what he was being told in camp. I don't know what his training camp went like, but I feel like, Danny was just being lazy, because he really could have stayed at 154. If you're not going to fight Bud, then just don't fight Bud. But you skipped the whole weight class to go up, and then you fought at a catch weight. And I just think that, you could just see the quit. And to me, I'm just saying, you could see the quit in Danny Garcia's face. It just looked like he just gave up, like, all right, this joint ain't going away. I thought it was going to go. I thought, he 41, we, catch weight 157, drain himself out, 3 pounds under, you know what I mean? And I, thought, he would slow down or whatever. But Lara was patient. And Lara, he got the win. I wouldn't call that like a credible like knockout for real like that. But of course, on paper, yeah. And even with Berlanga and Canelo picking Berlanga, on paper, Berlanga's record looked good, undefeated. You know what I mean? Good knockouts, good amount of knockouts and all that. So on paper, yeah, it looked good. Just like Jaime Munguia. On paper, they look like they were suitable opponents, but Berlanga is not on Canelo's level, and Canelo showed that last night. I mean, Canelo was never in danger in that fight. Berlanga was in danger at a few times, but then after that point, you seen Berlanga, he fought tight the entire night. Like his body was just like locked up the entire night. And then, Canelo coming in, you could see him clinching, grabbing Canelo. He clinched and grabbed a few times in the fight, you know? So, I mean, that's how he wasn't prepared for what Canelo was bringing him. That's why, Canelo was like, he will see something different on that night. On that night, he will see something different. I promise you, my friend. He will see something different. He will see something different. And all that Berlanga talking about he gonna knock Canelo out in the 6th round. Like, come on, dude. When have you ever seen Canelo get knocked down? Canelo never even been knocked down. Let alone I never even seen him hurt. Like even when Floyd had the advantage over Canelo, Canelo wasn't hurt in the fight. Floyd was just that much more better than him. And Canelo was a little green at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't, but he took that and he went on and he learned from that. But hey, this Rashawn's about time boxing. We're about to sign off. So just let me know, what I mean, what y'all think about, Caleb Plant, Mccumby, Berlanga, Canelo, and Danny Garcia and Erislandy Lara fight. You know what I mean? I'm all in all, I thought it was a good card. All in all, I thought it was, a good card. Rolly was on the fight. Rolly definitely needs more fundamental training. You know what I mean? Cool Boy Steph, I think, got dropped in the 5th round, but all in all, I think he looked pretty good on his comeback. He just need to, I think, just stay focused. You know what I mean? Stay in the gym, and stay ready. Um, Again, look out for the Rashawn's About Time boxing merch. Be coming soon. I appreciate y'all. That's all I got for now. We signing off.